All right, what's going on, guys? We have a quick video for you guys today talking about some of the biggest news in the NHL right now. We're going to get it started right away. We want to make it short. Liam, first topic, Brock Faber, 8 years, 8.5 million, re-signs with the Minnesota Wild. Unbelievable season last year. But in your opinion, does he merit that 8 times $8.5 million contract?
Yeah, so on this list, we're comparing it to some of the most paid, highly paid defensemen in the NHL and just around Brock Faber's range. And, scroll down a little bit so we can see who's a little bit lower. But looking at it, a couple guys in his closer tier would be Sergachev, Power, Sanderson, Chabot, maybe even Dougie and Petrangelo. I think this contract is amazing. 8 years, 8.5. He's a young guy. He's going to be in his prime when this contract ends. And considering the cap is going up, I think it's going to work out really well.
I think it was really smart to get him at this price at his age, because we see some of these other guys that are signing contracts. And if I go back up a little bit, I mean, you're obviously struggling to accept the fact that guys like Drew Doughty are still getting paid $11 million. Seth Jones, outlier, obviously, but $9.5 million. Darnell Nurse, 9.25. Like, I mean, even the Petrangelo one, obviously he's returned his value to a certain extent, but $8.8 million. Like, I mean, this Faber contract, I can really see it being a bang for your buck, considering the cap's going up and players are just going to be getting paid more.
Yeah, this is your PP1 defenseman, your number one defenseman for the future. You're getting that under 10 million. That's going to be a steal in a few years.
Know the beautiful thing about being a sports fan? There's only like 2 days the whole year without a game. 2. With so much happening and so much action, that makes just about every day game day at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's super easy for first timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It really couldn't be any easier, any simpler. Guys, this is the perfect time to get in and start betting on futures for football, for hockey. These seasons are right around the corner and there's no time to wait. And if you are new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights reserved.
And we'll move on to our next topic, which I'll let you take over, but is Martin Necas signing his contract, 2 years, $6.5 million.
So Martin Necas, RFA this season, lots of stuff going on with him. Was he going to resign? Maybe an offer sheet. That never happened. He signs 2 years, 6.5 at the end of this contract. He'll be a UFA. Does that mean Carolina will lose him? Possibly. But we're going to talk about what we think he'd be worth if he was a free agent this year, UFA.
Here's the thing. I think at 25 years old, he's obviously never eclipsed 70 points, but there's still, we talk always about floor and ceiling. I think his ceiling is absolutely through the roof. I think he has the potential to be an over point per game type player. And in today's market, that pays 8.5, 9 million. And I think that if you were available on the open market right now as a UFA, that's what he'd be getting. Now, I want to know, are you in agreement with that price?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think if he hits the market, you got to assume it's in, well, it would have to be a $7 million deal because a team can't sign a guy after a certain date to 8 years, but it's got to be in that $8 to $8.5 million range. Could even be 9 because of the potential he has, the type of player he can become, and you're paying for the future. You're not paying for right now.
And my question to you is now, Liam, is that we're looking at this. It's a 2-year contract. Obviously, Carolina's cap strapped. They weren't able to re-sign Jake Gensel. They had to move off of him. They lost Brett Pesce. They brought in a few guys in free agency, more as bottom feeder / depth pieces. Does this to you smell like Martin Necas will not be re-signing with Carolina Hurricanes 2 years down the line from now?
Based on their cap situation, who they bring in, I can't tell you exactly what will happen, but it seems like if Necas isn't played in the spot he wants to be played, he's going to be out of there. And I think he's going to get offered a lot of money from a team who can afford to pay him 9.5. Losing Gensel was huge. they were lucky that Necas was just sitting there and they had the rights to him, because I think he would have walked if he was a UFA.
And I think the biggest problem with this whole move is the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes are really making this move with the idea that their windows now, they need to make this move. And if it doesn't work out, then they're probably going to end up losing Necas, because I think that there's going to be a lot of teams that are willing to overpay for him when he's 27 years old, especially if in these next 2 seasons he eclipses 70 points. So we'll keep an eye out for that. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never skip leg day or therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN. Third up on the list and last topic of the day is Patrik Laine. He exits the NHL player assistance program. He is apparently being shopped by the Columbus Blue Jackets and their new GM. This tweet comes out by IB the Gambler. Laine rumors, teams currently involved: Habs, Penguins, Utah, Sabres, while also other teams waiting on the price to drop: Capitals, Hurricanes, Isles. Tons of teams that maybe don't fit what Laine brings to the table. What are your thoughts? Which teams suit Laine, and which teams are willing to pay for Laine?
I think the biggest fits here will be the Penguins and the Utah hockey team, just because I think they can use a top line winger, and I think the players that Laine could end up playing with there would benefit him the most. Just looking at Montreal, I feel like there's a lot of guys who are going to be coming into the top 6 in the next coming years, and he's going to lose that spot. I think he wants to go to a playoff team as well, which he's never been on. So unless we're considering Winnipeg when he was really young, but I think Laine is going to look for a place that he can settle down and be that goal scorer once again on a top line with a top tier player.
Look, to be completely honest with you, I would love to see him in Montreal. I know it might be like, I think people are loving and hating that whole topic, because some people don't want to see him step foot near Montreal, don't like his past, don't like what he brings to the table, probably considered to be a failed second overall pick. However, I still do think that there's a ton of upside, and I do think that he fits the timeline. And if there is a change of scenery that makes sense, I like Montreal. Now, yes, from an environment standpoint, I don't know how well he'd do in the bright lights in Montreal, considering that a lot of players crumble under that pressure. But I just feel like, let's put it this way, Liam, and I'll put it as a question. Do you think that if Laine were to come to Montreal, let's say it's this offseason, does he make this team significantly better going into next?
I would definitely hope so, but based on the fact that he's really not played too much hockey in the last 2 years, and the Canadiens are still a very young team, I don't know how much of a step the Canadiens would take by adding Patrik Laine. Obviously, I would love to see it. I think he still has that 40-goal potential, and he's still a relatively young guy, but I just don't think he's the best fit for the Canadiens, although I'd love for the Canadiens to be all over that.
I was able to find this quickly just to pull it up. Laine has 117 points in his last 129 games. Talk Canadian says, let's stop acting like he's a bum. Now, obviously, that doesn't paint the whole picture, but it does put things in perspective, because he obviously does have that upside. He isn't getting paid that money for no reason. That's why I'd like to see him a Canadian. I guess, like you said, it depends on the price. There are probably other fits for him, but I think that considering the Canadiens continue, now it's been 2 reports that the Canadiens are in on Laine. I think it's just a matter of time before the price drops on him and the Columbus Blue Jackets, decide to cut ties with him, and the Canadiens maybe get him or another team for that matter, get him at a discount.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. You didn't give your teams that you think Laine is going to. Who do you think?
I think, again, without being biased, I think that the Canadiens are probably the number 1 target, but I think that Utah is a great fit too. I think that it makes a lot of sense that Utah is a team that's obviously, they go out and get Sergachev, and they make a couple other moves. But I think that they really, other than Clayton Keller and obviously some of their younger pieces, I think that they're missing that guy that can bring that and drive that offense. And I think that Laine can be a great complementary or an elite complementary piece on a on a rebuilding Utah team.
Yeah, I think Keller and Laine would absolutely go off.
I think they do
and-
numbers.
Yeah, and I think that's the exact move that Utah needs to make to bring in some more hockey fans there.
We'll see. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Let us know what you think of this format of an episode, and we'll continue to pump these out. So thanks so much for tuning in.